en route to the nearest objective.
Hey guys, it's Shadow here, and this week's build, we're going to be looking at a Shatterdive Stasis Hunter build. Is this build better on Prismatic? Of course it is, because Stasis is better on Prismatic. But there's one thing you can't do on Prismatic that you can do on Stasis, and that is Shatterdive. And I just like Shatter. I think it's cool. I think it's a really cool aspect. I just like the process of throwing my nade down and smashing into a group of enemies. Just like that. But anyway, let's get into this build, guys. So, of course, there's only one Stasis Super, so we're running Silence and Squall. Maybe one day we'll get something different. You want to run Gambler's Dodge because it's the melee-centric build. Whatever jump you want. Triple jump's the way to go, though. Withering Blade, of course, because... yes, there's no other melee. And we're running Mask of Filthy, so gotta run it anyway. Glacier Nade, you can really run any grenade you want. I was running this one because, of course, I'm running Shatterdive, and then, of course, Grim Harvest. Biggest thing here is we're creating a lot of stasis shards. I was running Fissures for the bigger booms. I was running Rime for the extra stacks of frost armor and increased duration. I was running Refractions. Defeating slow to frozen targets grants you class ability energy, helps keep our melee up. Durance. I was running this one for one of two reasons. One, of course, things stay frozen longer. Two, and if you saw my crossbow featured video, my little short I put out earlier this week, if you have auto-loading with chill clip, if you fire a round, switch to a different weapon, and then when it auto-loads, if you come back to it, if you don't have Durance on, the slow is wore off, so you don't get the freeze off. But if you have Durance, you can fire, switch to a different weapon, do some damage, switch back, fire again, you'll get that freeze off on your bigger, chunkier targets. And then, of course, Conduction, because it just has everything come to us without us having to go get it. Something else I like about Stasis, it's like... never mind. I was going to say, like, everything boosts your stats, and it's just these right here. These three don't. I always feel like Stasis, though, has more boost than some of the other ones, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just crazy. Anyway, we are running the Icebreaker. I also played around with this build running Winter Bite. In group activities, I found myself enjoying Winter Bite more, but in solo activities, Icebreaker is definitely the way to go. It's just a fantastic exotic. Plus, it's the closest looking Jacobs thing I could find. It's not the reason I ran it, but that looks exactly like something that'd be in Borderlands as a Jacob. When it comes to our mods, it's melee centric. We're just trying to keep, we want heavy handed for the orb generation. I'm running this to keep my grenade up more because I have a really bad grenade stat on this, but my grenade's not for damage. It's just to throw my shatter down occasionally. But let's just see the mods. If in case you're interested in the drip, because personally I think this is a pretty sick drip. It's pretty much just the Vergula set with the ornament for Mask of Filthy, with, of course, the Taken shaders. I think this looks really good. But let's go ahead and get into some gameplay. Alright guys, so as you saw at the beginning of the video, I like to shatter. I enter the encounters by throwing that Glacier Grenade down. I slam down to the ground with my shatter. That gets some frost armor going from the stasis crystals that I make. And then I come in on this boss here and I just start welling away with the crossbow. I love the crossbows in this game. I think they're so cool. It's such a great weapon. And this crossbow here, if you saw my little short, can technically do all three classes. It can stun all three champions. Kind of. If you hadn't seen my short, check it out. It's really cool. But anyway, as I stated at the beginning of this video, this setup, of course, is better on Prismatic. Prismatic is just so goated. And the biggest reason being is because I can have any source of DR that I want. I can have the Strand Super, which every time I'm picking up orbs, I'm getting Woven Mail. But the reason I wanted to do it on Stasis is because, like I said before, I love Shatterdive. I think Shatterdive is really cool, which is why I wish we had more fragments and stuff and aspects on Prismatic, because I have a whole lot of DR on Prismatic, and I also have a way to heal with Facet of Blessing, because my melee kills will kickstart my health generation. That's the biggest issue I have with Stasis Hunter, and you'll see a couple of moments in these clips where my health bar gets dangerously low. Luckily, I had enough stacks of frost armor that it didn't really matter, but there's a few times when I was playing around with this setup
my frost armor completely ran out. I have no way of healing, of course, so I'm just kind of stuck. And when that happens, it's basically game over. When you have frost armor up though, you're super tanky. Frost armor is fantastic. See, frost armor, it's what, 4.5% per stack. So I think with 5 stacks you can get up to like 22.5, and then with 8 stacks it's 36%, which is also my biggest gripe with frost armor. Woven mail on prismatic, you pick up an orb and you have what is 45% damage reduction just right off the bat, just for picking up an orb of power. And we have so many ways to create orbs, it's not even. With stasis though, you have to maintain these stacks, and you get in predicaments where you just can't, especially when you're playing in a group setting. It's a whole lot harder to maintain those stacks. I definitely, if you're going to run this setup, I would highly recommend running it solo. I found that I was not struggling as much keeping my stacks up when running solo, but when I was running like the haunted lost sectors, I was having some issues keeping my stacks up, because I mean there's 6 people in there. It's harder to keep things going. This setup does really good in solo content though, and I mean you can see here on the screen health bar is low but DR is high, so it's fine. And here's what I was talking about when I said that the crossbow, I don't know if I do it here, I don't do it in this scene, but there is one where you'll get to see what I was talking about with the crossbow and why I said it can kind of stun all 3 champions. As you know, the artifact mod this week or this season does have anti-barrier bow, and then of course chill clip slows the overloads. But if you're running icebreaker like I am, you pop 2 shots of the bow into an unstop and then hit them with the icebreaker. The shatter, or not the shatter, but the ignition stuns unstops. And I think actually you're going to see it right here. I'll get this off here in just a second. But guys, this is a very fun build, but again, it's just better on prismatic, and I wish it wasn't, because sometimes I like to just go back and run the pure subclasses. Stasis Hunter, I had a lot of fun. You can definitely put in some really good work with this build, don't get me wrong. I think you guys should give it a shot. It's really fun. I feel like I'm selling prismatic though as I'm going through here, but I think anytime you try to do like just a pure stasis setup, you realize real quick how much help stasis still needs. Stasis got a lot of buffs not too long ago, but I just don't think it was enough, especially with prismatic being a thing. Or maybe this just goes to showcase what an issue prismatic introduced into the game. I don't know. I personally would like to get to a point where we could just mix and match all the subclasses. That to me would be absolutely dope. Just put everything into a pile and let me just create whatever I want. I think about my builds in Borderlands. The one I'm running right now uses a few points in the red tree for Rafa and then the rest in the blue, because I just want a bunch of guns. I like the guns in those games, so I don't really care about the skills as much as I do the guns. So I want max gun damage. I really wish we could do that. I wish there was a little bit more mix and play with prismatic. So maybe this isn't so much a build video as it is a what I would like to see change with Stasis Hunter. Come on, Bungie, give me Shatterdive on prismatic. Shatterdive on prismatic. So anyway, getting back to the build, guys. If you don't have icebreaker, man, go get it. It's such a good weapon. You never run out of ammo. As long as if you're shooting a slowed target, it puts a round back in the mag. If you kill frozen targets, it puts rounds back into the mag. And if it's like a champion, I think it's 3 rounds back into the mag. And then Mask of Filthy, man, I mean, it was a much needed exotic. I wish we had more exotics like this that just supercharged our abilities, because this takes a very meh melee and turns it into, it puts in work. It turns it into something great. Every single target you hit is instantly frozen. When you shatter a crystal with the melee, it shoots out shurikens all over the place and creates more crystals. And as you know, since we are on stasis, our fragments shattering stasis crystals gives us increased grenade generation. So I mean, it's a goated exotic. It's really good on Hunter. And honestly, I think the best weapon to pair with it is Queenbreaker. Queen Breaker. I keep wanting to call it Queen Breaker. It's Icebreaker. I've done this multiple times today, called it Queen Breaker when trying to get to recording. Also, pumpkins will fully shatter those things. I wish I would have known that earlier when I was playing this stupid solos. Lost Sector, Portal activity. I don't know what we're calling these solo activities. I know a lot of people have mixed feelings towards this stuff. Personally, I really enjoy the solo activities. If I'm just trying to jump in and see what a build can do, solo activity is a pretty good way to do it. I mean, I'm still playing at -30, so I didn't hear you. Here I took it into the Haunted Sorrows on the moon. I didn't get as much gameplay footage on the moon because, like I said, this build is definitely doesn't do as well in big group activities. 3-man, it'll probably do okay, but in solo activities, it's a little rough. Also, I don't know what the target acquisition is on Icebreaker, but man, you feel like you hit shots you really just shouldn't. I feel like I got lucky quite a bit. I like that right there. I hip fire this thing probably more than I ADS it, and it just seems like it works. That shot right there shouldn't. I don't know why that landed. It shouldn't have landed. Not mad about it. It looked cool, but shouldn't have landed. And here's another situation where you see my health's really low, but because we have those max stacks of frost armor, they are not hurting us. So, love to know what you guys think. Like to know what y'all think of the build. You guys also think that Stasis Hunter still needs some help? I know Stasis Titan right now is looking pretty cool. Stasis Warlock, I haven't played as much Stasis Warlock, so I really can't speak on it. But I feel like Stasis Hunter just still needs something. I feel like, you know, they put all that healing on Solar, which is great. And I think it's what plagues a lot of Hunter classes. We have all this ridiculous amounts of DR. But DR doesn't do as well when, when it runs out and you have no healing to back it up. So, I don't know. I feel like Stasis Hunter still needs some help. Prismatic's definitely still the way to run this setup. But I wanted to make a Shatterdive build. Anyway, guys, take this into some solo content. I guarantee you're going to have some fun with it. It really is a decent build. I don't know. I guess I decided to talk about Prismatic for half of this, but you guys know the drill. My Discord is going to be down below. I'd love to have you there. We are a Christ First Discord. All are welcome. As always, I love you. Jesus loves you. God bless. Y'all have a good one.